Everybody shows you the beautiful Christmas market river cruises, but nobody actually tells you what can make or break your river cruise. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain and sharing real insider details, the things first-time travelers don't know, the things you'll only learn once you've actually sailed, and the tips that can completely transform your Christmas market experience. Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm a travel advisor specializing in luxury river cruising, and after sailing these markets myself, I can tell you there's so much more than what you can find online. So let's get into what nobody else is talking about. So the videos and photos that you see about the Christmas markets, they can give you an idea of what it's like, but they won't capture that feeling. And really, honestly, that feeling of walking into your very first Christmas market, you're just going to get a big grin on your face because they're absolutely beautiful. They're so neat to experience. The Gulvine, the steam coming off the food stalls, the different little knickknacks and kitschy things you can get, the lights, the decorations, and it's really magical. It really is. But Christmas markets are becoming more and more popular as destinations to visit. And especially the most popular locations can get really busy and really crowded. So it's something to be aware of. Because it is so popular, it might be busy. Each one is different. So people think Christmas markets, everyone's the same. You're going to see the same thing over and over again. And in a way, yes, but also each one really is unique. And there's so many of them. Even different towns can have different markets in different areas of the town, and bigger cities have even more markets to experience. And each market really is different. However, something to note is that even though, markets more and more are trying to attract visitors to come and see them, they are still geared for locals and for a local experience. So you'll see way more food vendors and way more drink vendors than you'll ever see things and items to purchase. There, the joke about how a Starbucks on every corner, you'll see one across the street from one another in different cities. It's kind of like that for Christmas markets, but it's Gulvine. You'll see a Gulvine right over there, and you'll see another Gulvine over there. And there's so many of them, and it's designed for families and friends to come at the end of the day, enjoy a couple glasses of Gulvine or punch, have a couple different, fried foods to eat, and take in the atmosphere with their friends and visit and enjoy and listen to the music. It's still much more geared towards that than it is for people coming and purchasing items. But you're still going to get that. And as I mentioned, everyone's a little bit different. You'll have one where it's focused even more so, like every vendor is going to be food and wine, or Gulvine. And then you'll find one where it's more demonstrations. And then you'll see another one where people are dressed up in traditional outfits. And then you'll see another one that has a carousel, or another one that has an ice rink. They really are different, and they all have different themes. So that is one of the things that makes going along the rivers much more interesting, because each one is different. And talking about how every Christmas market is different, every town usually has its own commemorative mug every year. This is the one that I got in Zurich at the Singing Christmas Tree. And isn't it gorgeous? There are so many cute mugs. It's quite the thing to start collecting them. Usually when you go for some Gulvine or some punch or whatever, you have the option to purchase a commemorative mug or collectible mug, whatever you call them. You also have the option, if you just want to drink it in the mug, you can give it back to them and get your deposit back, or you just keep it. Easy as that. It's great. I love it. It's a great it's just getting them all back home. It's more the challenge. Make sure to leave extra room in your suitcase so that you can pack these things, because you might be collecting a few of them. Now, when you travel is really important. You think Christmas markets, it'll be mid-November up through December, that whole season. But when you go is actually really important. The most traditional markets don't start until the start of Advent every year, and that date sometimes changes, you know, so you got to keep that in mind when you're booking your river cruise. Yes, there are absolutely some markets that start before Advent, but not all of them, and especially the most traditional ones, they start on Advent. Also, many towns and locations have Advent calendars set up. And you know the Advent calendars that you have at home and you open up a new little door every day? They'll have that in their town square. And it'll be like little windows that they open up every day. And it is really cool to see. Like if you are able to time it so that you can see them opening up the door, it's even cooler. I love it. Those only start December 1st. So something to keep in mind when you're booking, timing does matter. And of course, the closer you get to Christmas, the busier it's going to be. And if you like what you're seeing, be sure to like and subscribe. I've got some big news coming out in January that you wouldn't want to miss. So stay tuned and keep watching because I've got more tips and tricks and things. Now we talked about earlier about how you'll see so many different markets. Another thing that makes markets so special is that you can see them during the day and they're great. But to see them at night is a totally different experience. Not all river cruises are going to allow you to see a Christmas market at night. A lot of them try to. They absolutely try to, or they'll schedule one to arrive in the evening and specifically go to a night market. And I think that's really important to do because it's so magical to be out in the evening when all the lights are on and walk through and get a little glass to drink and just wander and enjoy a night market. So I would recommend looking at itineraries to make sure that you go and do see one at least once. If for some reason you are on an itinerary where it doesn't do that, make sure that you're in a town pre-cruise or post-cruise where they have markets there and you're going to be there in the evening. Because going to visit the markets at night, there's something even more special about doing that. Now, a lot of people aren't sure which itinerary to pick. You know, there's the Rhine, there's the Danube, there's Christmas markets out of Paris now. Sometimes they have them now for Portugal. You know, there's different rivers, different itineraries. If you're looking for that quintessential Christmas feel, the Christmas markets really started in Germany. So I would try to make sure that the vast majority of your river cruise occurs in Germany in some way, or in Germany, places that have been influenced greatly by Germany. So like the Alsace region of France, northern France, the German area of Switzerland, yes, into Austria a bit, but it's Austria, you know, it doesn't have the same history with Christmas markets as these other regions. So the Rhine, a big majority of the Rhine travels in Germany. The Main, that's a big one as well. Lots of cute little towns. The Mosel, I've traveled the Mosel. It is one of the most picturesque rivers that you could ever imagine. And the markets that you'll see, oh, super duper cute. Like super cute. Highly recommend. You don't see a lot of Mosel river cruises anymore though. So I'm not too sure why that is. Anyways, the Rhine especially has some absolutely gorgeous markets. So where you travel is really important. That's where I'd make sure that you focus on. And lastly, the weather. So yes, it is a Christmas market river cruise. Yes, it's going to be cooler. There's not going to be leaves on the trees, but you're not very likely to encounter snow. Most of these areas are much more temperate. You're not going to get the freezing temperatures. You're going to get above freezing, but it's going to be kind of just above freezing. You're much more likely to encounter rain than you are snow. So you need to prepare accordingly. Different things that you're going to want to pack are primarily, first and foremost, a jacket that is windproof and waterproof, something that will block that rain. You want to get boots that are waterproof and could handle just a little bit of slushy snow. You're not likely going to need big winter boots. It's just something that'll get you out of the snow or water or whatnot. For pants, jeans are great for during the day because they are a bit of a windbreaker, but you're going to want thermals. Absolutely. For your tops, I always wear a thermal and then a thin layer, another thin long layer of shirts. And then my biggest tip, I have a puffer vest that I got on Amazon. That is a heated vest. It has a little battery that you can turn on, and that has saved me so much. When it's been really cool, I love that vest. It even just without it being on, it provides another warm layer for your core, and highly recommend a puffer vest like that. And then, yes, I've got my black trench. That is a bit of a thicker trench that has another layer. Gloves, something to cover your ears. A hood would be beneficial. If not, then a toque or a cap of some type. A scarf. You'll want to make sure you have a warm scarf. I also highly recommend bringing those hand warmers, those chemical things that you take them out of the packet and you rub them around and shake them around and then they start to heat up from a chemical reaction. Those. Put them in your pocket. Oftentimes I won't even wear gloves, but I have them just in case. And then I'll just stick my hand in my pocket to warm it up, and it works really well. You'll also, of course, when you go to the markets, you're going to want to bring, a little bag to carry around any goodies you do get. Also, the areas that you're going to be visiting, yes, you might find some really cool things in the market, but take a look at the stores as well. Lots of times you'll find local artisans making different goodies or Christmas ornaments in the town, in stores, not necessarily in the markets themselves. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. You might see some really interesting goodies. I've gotten a few things out of stores, especially on this last trip. So that is my advice and what nobody is really telling you about Christmas market river cruising. Now, if you're dreaming of a Christmas market river cruise for this year, next year, or the year after, I'd love to help you choose the right itinerary, the right dates, and the right cruise line so that your experience is as magical as you can imagine. I'm Alicia, owner-operator of Evening Star Travel, and I am a river cruise specialist. I absolutely love river cruising, and I'd love to help you plan and book an amazing river cruise vacation. Reach out today to schedule a consultation. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and happy travels, everyone.